What is going on, Cowboys Nation? We are back with another film session, and we had to come in here and talk about Dante Fowler. This is a player that I am glad to have back on the team, who went to the Commanders last year and had 10.5 sacks, being his second best in his career. This is a guy that went on Twitter and said that he can't take the disrespect anymore because he knows he has put in the work and earned it. He was a situational pass rusher pretty much for his entire career, but lately he has stepped up when his opportunity was given. Now back with the boys for a one-year deal, there should be a ton of opportunities with Matt Eberflus' new look defense on top of the departure of DeMarcus Lawrence. So let's break them down and see what he did this past season. So on this play here, with Fowler, he's not the biggest pass rusher, but he does show he has the strength to bull rush and disrupt the offense's timing. You'll see his willpower, finding a way to disengage and get the sack. These are the traits that Matt Eberflus likes to see when it comes down to the edge rushers on defense. So we'll go ahead and rock with it. So locking on this play here, just watching Fowler. Love to see the fire when he gets off on the ball and watching these two players engage in contact. And as you can see, he's driving his legs and pushing them back and pulls his weight down. The thing is, when you're playing that edge rusher position, sometimes all you got to do is torque your body, change your direction, and that can be the biggest difference on the play. So as soon as he dips down, the offensive lineman loses his balance, and that is what gave him a clear lane to get straight to Lamar Jackson. And the thing is, with this kind of talent, he was doing this for the Dallas Cowboys. The better coaches need to get this player into position because when he does see the field, he has what it takes to be productive all 4 quarters. And consistency is key when you're playing defense. By watching his film when he was playing for the Commanders, he was still a situational pass rusher, but I believe with this past season, he has earned more play time. So Matt Eberflus and the rest of these defensive coaches, they have to find ways to get this player in position, especially since DeMarcus Lawrence is not there anymore. But seeing him firing off on the ball, getting his hands on the right tackle, pulling his weight down to create leverage, and getting to Lamar Jackson was great to see. One thing I really like about Dante Fowler is his incredible effort whenever he's on the field. And that's exactly what you want from your defender, giving it all on every single down and doing whatever it takes to be effective. And with Fowler, he definitely has that mentality in him. So we'll go ahead and split it. So looking at this play here, you see that the offensive lineman, he got his hands on him quickly. The thing is, you will be clumsy when it comes down to that edge rusher position. It's not going to always be perfect. So he ended up hitting the deck and was completely pancaked by the right tackle. But seeing Lamar Jackson, he's batting at the ball, batting at the ball. And next thing you know, Fowler gets up and sees it and closes in and gets the sack. This is what you love to see when it comes down to your defender, Cowboys Nation. The thing is, when you're playing a game of football, even if you're wiped out of a play for a few seconds, you have to keep going. Being a player that's playing to the whistle. And the better coaches in the NFL, they have to pay attention to things like this because there are some defenders in the league, once they get washed out of the play, they do not have that effort to keep going. And this shows that this player has that whatever it takes mindset, pretty much the same things that he was doing for the Cowboys in 2023. Because sometimes when you can be able to get up like that, get your hands on a quarterback, that can sometimes be the biggest difference in the game. So another great play by Dante Fowler, slipping, but getting up and still getting it done. Here's another clip where we see another outstanding display of Fowler's relentless motor and determination on the field. You'll see him violently ripping through the offensive line with impressive savvy and timing. It's great to see him maintain his balance while fighting through traffic to get to Russell Wilson, showcasing his ability to finish plays with explosive closing speed to secure the big-time sack. So we'll go ahead and run it. So zooming in on Dante Fowler, you see he tries to knife into that A-gap. Sometimes you can get caught into traffic, but as you can see, he did not let that stop him from being able to disengage and get to Russell Wilson. And when you're thinking about a guy like Fowler, he played a huge part this season with the Commanders and part of the reason why they were making game-changing plays on defense. Now, when you're adding guys like Maurice Leafau, Micah Parsons, Osa Odigizua, these guys together can go out there and boogie. But you have to continue to keep building it and getting better. Because if you got players that's playing in that front seven and they're displaying this kind of effort, it'll definitely make things easier for everybody on this defense. And he doesn't have to be an edge rusher getting 12 to 15 sacks. If he can get 8 to 10, that will definitely be fireworks. But by losing DeMarcus Lawrence, I'm sure that he will have a ton of opportunities come Sundays. But slashing inside, ripping through the gridiron, and getting to the quarterback is what we all like to see, Cowboys family. Having great field awareness and defensive instincts are crucial when playing in the front seven. You'll see Fowler diagnose the stretch play that's developing to the opposite side of the field. Instead of pursuing upfield, Fowler maintains disciplined positioning and patiently reads the flow of the play, then closes in and make the tackle. While he's not elite at stopping a run and has areas where he needs to improve, he does flash impressive ability from time to time, which is great to see. So we'll go ahead and spin it. So locking on this play here, just watching Fowler, you could tell that he's staring down at the play. They're running a stretch play, so you see he torques his body, gets into position, and locks his eyes on Najee Harris. The thing is, when you're playing that defensive end position, you can't get overly aggressive. So he got into position and closed in and made the tackle. And sometimes when you can be able to lay a body on these defenders, they can end up fumbling the ball just by you putting a body on them, and that can be able to switch the momentum. Now, if he is in Matt Eberflus' defense, if he wants to be one of the guys that can play on first down, second down, be a pass rusher as well, he's going to have to do things like stopping the run, being consistent, setting the edge, and doing all the little things to be able to keep this offense flowing. But being on the edge and stopping the run, that's what they got Sam Williams, Marshawn Nealon for. But if Dante Fowler could show early on that he can be able to do that effectively on top of his pass rushing ability, it's going to be hard to keep this kind of player off the field. But sometimes you do have a lot of these defensive ends in the league. They try to go out there and play hero ball, and that can quickly get you washed out of plays. So being patient, using your eyes, and getting into the right position is imperative. But we saw all of that on this rep here. Another thing Fowler excels at is running stunt plays on either side of the ball as a looper, effectively disrupting the quarterback. Spatial awareness and agility are crucial for executing these plays. On this play, he times the loop perfectly, maintaining acceleration while working around his teammates and showing excellent bend to slip through the gap, getting to Russell Wilson once again. And this was a game here where he really showed up. So let's run it. So looking at this play here, just watching that tight end and offensive lineman, they pretty much pushed him all the way into the A gap on the other side. Next thing you know, he gets into position, gets skinny, and stretches those long arms and got to the quarterback again. And there will be times where you're going up against these offensive linemen, you might be in a bad positioning, but do you have a knack for being able to close in and find the ball carrier? And this kind of play here is part of the reason why Matt Eberflus, Will McClay, they want a player like him because he has the ability to affect these games on any given rep. Whether if it's using spin moves, ghost rushes, being a looper on some of these stunts, the list goes on and on when it comes down to this player's talent. But it's extremely important to find ways to use this player effectively. But another dominating rep by Dante Fowler, looping around and getting skinny and making magic happen. So on this final play here, Fowler manipulates his hand placement, gets slippery once again, and evades the left tackle to generate pressure on the quarterback. And with Dante Fowler, he was doing this at a high rate this past season. So let's run it. So locking in on Fowler, just watching the bend and arm movement. The thing is, when you can be able to zoom it in like this and slow it down, you can see the main reason why these players were able to affect the play. So he finds a way to get away from the left tackle, opens those long arms, and gets to the passer. And I think he was throwing his arm forward, but this is what you get when it comes down to a player like Dante Fowler and what he can be able to do for the defense this year. Sometimes when you can be able to get around the right coaches, you got great players on defense, that can make the world a difference. But can you be a player on the edge that can be able to beat your guy one-on-one? And usually when you can be able to do that, that could make Matt Eberflus' scheme more versatile. So 10.5 sacks this past year, signing a one-year deal for $8 million. That's a lot of money, but this player has definitely earned it, Cowboys family. So it's going to be good to see how it all plays out with the Dallas Cowboys this year. We know that this team has a ton of work to do. You're bringing in guys like Dante Fowler, Sanborn, Kenneth Murray, but this team is going to have to go out there and find difference makers in the draft if they're going to take that next step. There are no excuses when it comes down to these Dallas Cowboys, but I am glad that we can bring in a guy like Dante Fowler to get this defense going. So comment below and let me know what you guys think about Dante Fowler. And as far as the NFL draft, who would you like to see me break down just like this video? So make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because the way the YouTube algorithm works, if you don't hit it, you'll miss on fire updates and the best football film sessions on YouTube. All right, football family. Talk to y'all soon. Gone.